Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. All right, so we just returned from the news and you just heard some latest gist in the maritime world. Let's switch gears this morning. Before we do that, let's still let you know that the traffic situation across town is still very, very good. The connecting points to the island, the Third Mainland Bridge, looking pretty good. Ikorodu Road is also receiving with good vehicular flow at this time. Route 3, Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, not bad at all. And we can tell you, those of you making that journey out towards Lagos is still looking good for now. All right, so today on the program, we're looking for best ways of revamping Nigeria's economic profile using service exports as a launchpad. And joining me on the phone line this morning to shed light on this, I've got Dr. Obiora Madu. He's a Director General, African Center for Supply Chain. He's also the immediate past president, Association of Outsourcing Professionals of Nigeria, AOPN. Dr. Obiora Madu, good morning. Very good, very good. Let me just try and see. Having some technical difficulties here, trying to put you on. Can you hear me very well now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. All right, so the last time we had you on this program was sometime in June. Make that about 4 months ago. And at that time, I know things were a little bit gloomy in terms of the economic outlook of Nigeria. So between that time and now, any substantial changes yet?
Victor, difficult question. A lot of efforts are being put here and there, but the truth is whether they are enough. If you look at the non-oil exports, there's no significant growth. Challenges are still there. Most of the challenges are still there. Exporters are encountering a lot of problems. In fact, even some government agencies like NAFDAC struggling to be involved in exports for reasons I don't know, adding burden to exporters. So we haven't had any significant events in the services side, except the recent conference organized by Nigeria Export Promotion Council on services export and e-commerce.
Right. So we'll talk about services exports.
So, but there was a communique from that very particular event, which I'm pretty sure that NEPC has promised they will follow, and if they follow it, I'm sure there will be a significant improvement.
Okay, then. So let's just jump in on the service exports, which you just mentioned now. So by way of definition, services exports, what is the concept all about?
Service export is when a company is regarded as a service, or an individual is regarded as a service exporter. When you offer a service and the person who is paying you is not a resident.
Okay.
Not that is a foreigner, is not a resident, which means it could be your brother who is resident elsewhere, who is in the US or Canada.
Okay.
Ask you to do something, pay you your fees for doing that, sends you the whole money in dollar, and then you do what he wants you to do for you. You have actually exported service. It's also about, for example, fan at the airport. Foreign planes land in and out on a daily basis. They pay in foreign currency.
Right.
So some government agencies like FAN, NIMASA, and some of them are also earning service exporters. So the biggest challenge we have is that the awareness is still very low.
Right, and that's why we are concentrating on this morning on the program. So, but for those who are not very much aware, so it appears some of us are already engaging in service exports, but we might not know what it is. So, what are the modes?
That is very correct.
What are the modes under the service exports?
Okay, you see, because of the importance, let me first say something. The least developed countries are increasing more in services export than in product export. Because in services export, once you conquer that initial competitiveness by becoming known, proving your integrity and the rest of it, you just flow. Unlike goods, where you have to talk about logistics of transport and all the wahala that is in it. So talking about the WTO now, having seen the trends, recognize services export as a very, very big aspect of what can assist countries to diversify the economy.
Right.
So mode one is a situation where the service provider is in Nigeria. Let's say World Bank appoints a Nigerian professor to do a research in any particular area.
Right.
So this Nigerian professor prepares the research, send it to them. Maybe they do some back and forth and the rest of them. Once World Bank accepts it and pays, that's mode one.
Okay.
What happens in mode one is that it is the service that travels via email this time around.
So the
service provider does not travel.
Right. So the service crosses borders to meet the buyer.
You say what?
I said the service crosses
the buyer
borders.
Does not travel.
Right.
Exactly. It crosses our border to the buyer.
Okay.
The service crosses border to the buyer. The service provider does not travel. The service buyer does not travel. That's mode one.
Okay.
It is the service that crosses border. Then mode two is a situation where the service buyer must travel to the destination, and that is tourism.
Okay.
And hospitality.
All right.
Let's say you have been admiring what you are seeing about Dubai, what you are seeing and hearing about Dubai, all the beautiful things. You need that. The only way you can enjoy it is that you go to Dubai. There's no way the service can come over to your country. You must go to Dubai to enjoy that. So in this very case, it is the buyer that crosses border to the other side to go and enjoy the service he has been longing for.
Okay, that's mode two.
That's mode two.
Then mode three.
That's mode two. Mode three is where physical presence is involved.
All right, physical establishment.
For example, if you go to Ghana,
right?
Yeah, if you go to Ghana, you see Zenith Ghana, GT Ghana, Fidelity Ghana, everybody Ghana from Nigeria. So what mode three is that the person who is offering the service, the company that is offering the service, will come over, cross over border to the country where they want to offer the service and then set up a presence. Set up a physical presence. So, like in the banks I've talked about now,
right.
There are also Nigerian companies that are elsewhere, established in other countries. So that's the person who is offering the service must be in the country where the service is being offered, setting up a physical presence.
And then mode four.
Mode four is, let's say, for example, World Bank hired my service to go and deliver a course in South Africa for 2 weeks.
Right.
So I will cross border. It is the service provider that will travel this time around. I will cross border to get there, deliver the 2 weeks. But that very crossing over is temporary.
Right.
Because when I finish in 2 weeks' time, I'm back into my country. So that is how mode 4 happens.
So it's called temporary traveling to the place of service rendered.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So let's talk about the potentials now. Because you've mentioned it and you said World Trade Organization has recognized service exports as a crucial part for growing economies. What are the potentials that service exports possesses, Dr. Obiora?
Victor, if you and I start talking about the potential, we won't leave here today, but I'll try and see how I can bring this up. We will start by breaking down these services into sectors.
Okay.
Your financial sector, where we, as a country, we are doing very well. The ICT sector, the education sector, of course, there's business services, which includes consultancy and the rest of them, including education. Of course, there's outsourcing. So if we start breaking it down, it's so much.
It's so massive.
You can actually also export culture. There's a Yoruba woman who does this thing they call oriki. When people are getting married, traditional marriage.
All right.
So traditional marriage of the Yorubas. This woman has gone to the 5 continents. That's services export. But most of the time, it is mode 4 that she does, because she has to be physically present to do that, and then of course leaves after doing it. So, particularly in view of after, there is so much. There is so much you can do. Right now, some Nigerian logistics companies are in about 9 to 10 African countries. So, the beauty of service is that you're not looking for loan, you're not looking for, you don't keep inventories, you're actually selling what is in your head, more or less.
Right. Which is
so all this, we can't see. Go ahead.
Yeah, so which is very, very good, Obiora, Dr. Obiora Madu. But I was looking for figures. I mean, most of the time when you look at different sectors, we say this particular sector has the potentials of generating 25 billion, 10 billion. So if we talk about service exports, what role or how much can it contribute to the GDP of Nigeria?
Victor, services as of today contributes about 55% of the GDP.
55?
Yes.
That's huge.
And that is not considering, and probably less than 5% of that are exported.
Wow. So
you know what it will mean if you add export to that 55%. That means it has the capacity to go to 60, 65, and possibly 70.
Right. So as we speak right now,
so that's how serious it is.
So
the only thing is that we have a lot of challenges that are holding us back. There are the young people are doing a whole lot for foreign companies. Look, we have this virtual assistants, virtual executive assistants. They are in Nigeria. They work for somebody in Europe. They work for somebody in Canada. What are they doing? In services export.
Wow.
So then you have some software guys in Nigeria that get some outsourced jobs from India. So, but the fact is that we have not brought ourselves out as a reliable, viable services destination.
Right, which is quite unfortunate.
And I can assure you that the day we do, so much foreign direct investment will be coming into this country. As a result of that.
All right, then.
So our integrity quotient internationally
is something that we need to work on. Right. I understand that.
Yes.
So how do we start? How do we start all of this? I mean, now you said it, the potentials for service export is pretty huge. And already we have so many young ones who are doing so many things. Like you said, I know of not 10, not even 12 youths that are ICT compliant that are working for some foreign firms, here and there. So already they are participating in service export. But how can we harmonize all of this together for us to begin to make good use of it? Is there any policy that talks about service export for Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Victor. You see, my voice has cracked of talking about these things for over 15 years.
I know.
The first step will be to start capturing service export figures. As I speak to you, we don't have statistics. We don't even know who is exporting what. Because if you check on the import side, you have Form M and you have Form A. Form M for physical import, Form A for services import. Then if you go to the services side, you see the export side, you see NXP form for physical products. There is no form for services export. In fact, in that very conference, I said that these people organized. Luckily, I was the moderator, and I asked, the first person I asked question was the CBN question. I said, how long will it take for us to get a form that will help us to capture services? So that is the first step. The other one is to market Nigeria. You must market Nigeria. All the things that are happening now are happening out of personal efforts.
All right.
They're happening out of personal effort. So, if the government brings a serious force, I know that they have launched one outsource to Nigeria. It is not to launch; it is to make the place comfortable for those you are calling to come when they come.
All right. Okay then, Dr. Obiora Madu, just 1 second.
Awareness.
Right.
Awareness.
Just
awareness.
Just 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to hold you on a bit. This is Maritime Today on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, and we are reflecting a bit on service exports as a viable means of revamping the economic profile of Nigeria. And Dr. Obiora Madu is Director General, Center for the African Center for Supply Chain. He is also the immediate past president of the Outsourcing Professionals of Nigeria. A brief break. When we return, we'll hear from you. I know some of you will have questions for him. 08099120777. And we'll also look at modalities to make all of this happen for service exports.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and Dr. Obiora Madu is taking us to the classroom this morning. We're learning new things, new concepts, new and evolving situations out there as it relates to revamping the economy, and we're using service exports as a launch pad for that. Lekki Ajah corridor, I understand the vehicular movement descending from Jubilee Bridge inwards Elijah is gathering momentum at the moment, and then from there connecting VGC, Ikota, Eleganza, the toll plaza up to Chevron, very much in good shape as we speak. Immediately after Chevron, a traffic light inwards Igboefon is slow, and then of course you have some bad portions of the road there, nothing unusual. From there we have it good all the way. All right, so you first said it now that no effective data to capture service exports in Nigeria. But as a government, do you think the federal government is very much aware of the huge potentials that service export possesses, Dr. Obiora?
Because they are aware. They are very aware, but the oil is still running. So I'm not sure they are going to do something about it.
Okay, let's take this call. There's a call that's really, really eager to speak with you on the program this morning. Let's see if we can take that. 08099120777.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. All right, I'm Daniel.
Daniel, where are you calling from?
From Apapa.
From Apapa. All right, Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, so I just want to ask the guest that how can Nigerian youth and
how can Nigerian youths?
Yes, and the tech sector.
Yeah. I didn't get that. How can Nigerian youths and the tech? Ooh. Okay. How can Nigeria use and take? Okay. I guess he was trying to say probably make use of service exports. All right. But Daniel, if you can reconnect, we would appreciate that. All right. So you said that the government is aware, but how come we're not really, coming up with strong policies that will be able to capture service exports and make it a big revenue earner for us as a country?
Victor, that's I don't know if you are aware that some time ago somebody moved a motion in the National Assembly that outsourcing should be banned.
Wow. Why?
We have to fight it because he doesn't understand what it means. So it should be banned. So that is part of the problem. These are the people who are making the policies that you are talking about, the laws that will govern the land.
Right.
If not that it was fought even by other government agencies that had understanding for it, it probably would have become a law. So the problem is in awareness, and that's why I've been speaking with MEPC. Can we organize a program and educate people in government, first of all? Let's start from them about how important this thing is. See, we have so many advantages. The youth population, which the last caller was talking to you about,
right?
About 60% of our population is youth, and this one we're talking about is actually youth
oriented, right?
Youth, even women. So it's very unfortunate, very very unfortunate that we are still where we are, because it is when you understand, then you can make policies that will make sense, policies that can grow the industry that you understand. But if you don't understand the industry and you just see it as, well, if it happens or it doesn't happen, we will continue to do well.
All right, there are some questions coming in for you. Yeah, some questions here. This one says, how can Nigeria improve its competitiveness in exporting high-value services like IT and finance? Daniel Okoye is sending this one. I hope it's maybe the same Daniel. Okay, so how can we improve that? IT and... what do you call it now? Yeah, competitiveness and
I do understand. Let me answer. You
okay.
See, the marketing Nigeria is one of them. The other one is a very, very strong IT backbone.
Okay.
To say the truth, at the moment we're not doing too badly compared to other African countries as far as ICT is concerned. So, because you need it to provide some the high-end services that the guy is talking about.
Right.
These are the two things. Then the other thing is also the quality of people who see. The top 4 pharma companies have their research centers in India, and I listened to the Prime Minister of Israel when he was talking the other day, and he said that the economy was about oil, manufacturing, and the rest of them. 10 years later, it is IT companies that were leading. And the man said, all these successful IT companies have their research centers in Israel. So this is that is the higher end of outsourcing. Because you have business process outsourcing, then you have knowledge process outsourcing. That's the high end.
Right. I wish you were here in the studios because lots of questions are popping in for you. This one says, good morning, Victor and Dr. Obiora. How can Nigeria's diaspora help boost service exports? If you're in, send that one in. This one says, hello, please ask the guest, what impact does the African Continental Free Trade Area have to have on Nigeria's service exports? Jimo is sending that one in. Another one here says, how can Nigeria close skill gaps that limit service export growth? All right, so lots of questions popping in for you, but time not really our friend. But Obiora, Madu, what should we be doing now as a country, and how can we harness the potentials of all of this in less than 45 seconds?
Victor, as part of building awareness, I would like you to channel these guys who ask those questions to me personally.
Okay.
Let me attend to them.
Okay, good.
Outside here, because they ask very vital questions. after holds after is on goods and services. And the services component is actually where our strength lies now, not product. That's where our strength lies, if we know.
Right.
If you can channel them to me, you can send me WhatsApp questions and I can answer them.
All right, then. We'll do that.
Let me come to what should we be doing? We need to build awareness. We need to develop relevant policies. Let me just, I don't know how much time we have, but like service level agreements. Here, there's no strong legal backing. What it means is that a principal can actually call a service provider and say, we agreed on 20% management fee, but now I can only afford 12%, and it will take it or leave it. Meanwhile, they had signed a service level agreement. In some countries, you dare not. How? How would you do that? The law will be holding you.
All right.
So put policies and make laws that will create an environment where these things can thrive.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
That's basically what we should do.
We'll leave it at that for now. Dr. Obiora Madu, thank you so much for connecting with us at very, very short notice. At least you've been able to, make things flow pretty well on the program. It's nice having you on the program, sir.
My pleasure always, Victor.
Okay, then. So, Dr. Obiora Madu is Director General, African Center for Supply Chain, and he is also the immediate past president of the Association of Outsourcing Professionals of Nigeria. And this morning, we've reflected a bit on the roles of service exports in revamping Nigeria's economy. We have to go. Mike James has produced the program as usual. Maximum thanks to Rebecca Adamu, who's Assistant Director, Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. In the studios this morning, Vivian Ifeanyi Anyanwu and Gbemileke Christiana, same for Tajuddin Gafar. Maximum thanks to Margaret Ifa, and also I must say a big thank you to Remi Aloko and Okwayemi Shodunke. Our executive producer is Taya Conley. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.